tonight. It may not always be possible or appropriate for the board to directly answer questions during the public comment period. Each speaker is allotted a maximum of 3 minutes to make their statement. No one may speak more than once on the same topic. You're required to give your name and address before speaking. Please keep your comments respectful and non-defamatory, and maintain the level of decorum appropriate for a public meeting where minors may be in the audience. Would anyone like to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to correspondence.
I'd like to
Any
speak.
questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. On agenda item?
It's not on the agenda item.
Okay, you'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. There's another public comment.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. All right, moving on to correspondence items. Any questions? I don't know, Mr. Cole's here. I did have a question on the cover, that it's coming in, or have we received it, the cover for the playground? It's received, right? It was the wrong size. Okay. Thank you. All right, committee reports. That is, I'm up next. We have policy. We met for policy about 2 hours, and we discussed the policies that are on for revision, the regulations, and the policies that are on your agenda for revisions. Are there any questions? Some were mandated, some were not. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay, and we have finance. John, to speak briefly about that.
Yeah, everybody has received an email with the correspondence as far as how that meeting went and all the items that we discussed. If you have any questions, further questions as far as that goes, you can let Laura know, Christine, and myself via email. And we appreciate all the hard work and the countless hours that have been dedicated to strengthening the financial position of our school district. I personally look forward tonight to the transportation presentation.
Okay, thank you, John. And now we have superintendent's report.
Thank you. So the school year has begun. We are in, everybody's here. School began Thursday, September 4th, and the excitement was palpable between and among faculty, staff, and students. There were a few tears, many excited smiles, and at this point, everyone is beginning to settle into the routine, and we're well on our way to a school year of learning, growth, and fun. So thank you to everybody who made that happen. Transportation continues to get tweaked and refined with routes and timings, etc. But we want to remind parents to be at the bus stop at least 10 minutes prior to the bus stop time. Also remember that the school bus is an extension of our classroom, therefore rules of conduct apply. It's truly essential that our students follow proper bus safety protocols at all times while riding the school bus. We're witnessing behaviors that will not be tolerated this year, as it has a severe impact on the health and safety of all of our students. So parents, please speak with your children about remaining in their assigned bus seats, buckling their seatbelts, and behaving appropriately while riding the school bus. Additionally, parents are encouraged to have an alternate plan in place in the event your child is suspended from the bus for any length of time. We also want to remind parents to be good neighbors when you're picking up or dropping off your students with the people who live on these roads. This month is Attendance Awareness Month. The New Jersey Department of Education is joining other states in recognizing September as the Attendance Awareness Month, focusing on activities for reducing student absenteeism and encouraging consistent school attendance. The Department of Ed points out that for students to learn and achieve their fullest potential, it's critical that they're in school and engaged in the learning process, which is a great segue into a presentation that I'm going to do on chronic absenteeism in a few moments. Chronic absenteeism remains a concern for our school district. What chronic absenteeism translates to is a student being absent from school for 10% of the school year, which is 18 days, and may result in truancy mediation, truancy court, and possible retention. 18 days is a lot of time to be out of school and will absolutely have a negative impact on academic progression. So we're going to be presenting on that this evening. And finally, back to school nights. I was in attendance at Mitchell's Back to School Night last week. It was great to see and welcome parents and students to visit with their children's teachers. The night was a success, and we're looking forward to tomorrow's Back to School Night here at Frog Pond. And October 2nd is the scheduled the scheduled Back to School Night for ECC. That's my superintendent's report. Thank you.
And now we'll move on to presentations. Dr. Antunes, chronic absenteeism.
I'll come up here for that.
Okay.
Okay, good evening. So we are addressing the chronic absenteeism in our schools. And we do have chronic absenteeism, and I'm going to share how we compare with the state. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and it's something that our principals, both Mitchell and Frog Pond, need to have a corrective action plan for. So what is chronic absenteeism? I just explained what chronic absenteeism was, missing 10% or more of days in school for any reason, excused or unexcused. It can occur when a student misses as few as 2 days of school per month over the course of the year. I sent a letter out to the community about the importance of attendance at the beginning of the school year. We're going to be doing a couple of presentations like this throughout the year, and then there'll be a couple more letters through the year as well. That's how important this issue is, not just in Little Egg, but in New Jersey and across the country. There are significant long-term effects of chronic absenteeism. There is an impact to reading levels, especially in the early grades, where kindergarten and first grade students who are chronically absent have an 81% chance of reading below grade level by the time they get to third grade. There are lower graduation rates. Even when the absenteeism occurs at the younger grades, it ultimately results in the single strongest predictor of dropping out before graduation. And chronic absenteeism is certainly linked to suspensions, teen substance abuse, and poor health as adults. There are causes of chronic absenteeism, and there's a ton of reasons for them, but they can generally be broken down into three main categories. It's those who cannot attend school, those who will not attend school, and those who do not attend school. So according to the state reporting, students who live in communities with higher levels of poverty are 4 times more likely to be chronically absent than others. It's probably not a surprising statistic for you. However, students who cannot attend because there's family issues, there's illness, there's housing instability, there's the need to work because they're taking care of their families, they cannot attend. That's a different problem that has to be addressed differently. Then we have students who won't attend, whether to avoid bullying, they feel they're unsafe, the conditions are unsafe, or they're embarrassed for some reason. And then we have students who don't attend because they or their parents don't see the value of being in school, so they'd rather do anything else except come to school. These are students with whom we have to work. We have to work with all these students, but the way to get to them is very different. So what are some of the impacts of chronic absenteeism in the early school years? It can start as early as kindergarten, absolutely, and that is way beyond this child's control. Right? That's all about parents, guardians, that sort of thing. But the long-term effects last forever. When you are chronically absent early on, you're more likely to experience lower school readiness in math, letter recognition, and social emotional skills, challenges meeting and reaching reading milestones, and continued attendance issues, poor social emotional development, and behavior problems through adulthood. Some statewide stats on chronic absenteeism. Overall, New Jersey has had a decrease in absenteeism from about 16% to 14%, so the trajectory is going the right way. However, there were 193,000 students chronically absent in the 23-24 school year in New Jersey. If you take a look at the district, Little Egg Harbor School District, the light blue is the district, the dark blue is the state. You can see just across the board that we are way above the state average in chronic absenteeism. Okay, so that's the district as a whole. When we look at Frog Pond, Now, it's 157 students, but again, look at those grade levels. We are the light blue, the state is the dark blue. So at every grade level, our chronic absenteeism is higher than the state average. And Mitchell, same thing. What this means is that we need to have each school on a corrective action plan that is addressing chronic absenteeism for these students. The district doesn't have to go on a plan, just the two schools. Now, early childhood, so the ECC, they are also high in chronic absenteeism, but the preschool is held to a different standard than our elementary schools and the K-6. So what are some strategies to tackle chronic absenteeism? Well, of course, we want to look at increasing monitoring and measuring student absenteeism. Why are students absent? It's often the same students, so there's got to be something going on. So let's help the parents or the guardian address what's actually going on if we can do that. We want to look at the data and we want to understand why students are missing. Are they won't, can't, or don't? We want to problem solve to address the reasons, and we want to inform and engage with guardians or parents to figure out what's going on. How can we help? We want to create and develop a plan to work with community groups to promote school attendance, including PTOs, Elks Club, Rotary, everything like that. And we want to recognize and reward and incentivize good attendance throughout the district, which we have done in my time here and before that. So we will continue to do that. Attendance truly is the key to success. We see it in our work life, we see it in our school life. So in order for us to address it, we have to come up with a collaborative approach to do so. It can't just be one person. There are many districts, large districts, who actually have attendance officers. We do not have that in Illinois. That is what it is. That's okay. We just have to come up with other ways to address it. And that's our first chronic absenteeism presentation of the year. Thank you. Yes.
So currently we track with like a robocall goes home if a student isn't in class for safety reasons. Do we follow up on that though?
Yes.
To determine whether it's illness or personal?
Each school will follow up. Sometimes they will also follow up with a call to the parent. If the parent doesn't call, if the parent calls the child out for whatever reason, which we encourage, we want the parents to call us to let us know why the child is out. That's helpful because then the robocall won't go out because we know, but it also lets us talk to the parent to figure out what's going on and if we can help in any way.
And who does those follow-up calls? Is it the health?
It depends why the person's out. It could be the health person, it could be the nurse, it could be the vice principal, the principal. It depends upon the situation. It could be a child study team member, it could be an elementary supervisor, it could be a director. So it really just depends where they are in that continuum of absenteeism.
Okay. And one more question, the PTOs, the Elks, Rotary, how would you engage those?
So, for example, the PTO, perhaps what we might do is work with them to offer any class with full attendance for a month, get something. So we would work with them, or maybe if you are chronically absent and your attendance has improved, you get a $5 Barnes & Noble card or something like that. You know, I don't know. We have to talk to them about it. We have to collaborate about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? Okay. Thank you. I think we have another one, right?
And transportation is up next.
Okay,
Yes.
and I think I'm going to have some helpers with me for transportation. It's coming up. Okay. So this is very exciting. We're very happy to be here to present this transportation plan to you. And this did go through Finance Committee because Finance is Mr. Morelli. Mr. Morelli is a business administrator. Transportation falls under the business administrator. And of course, Mr. Kofer is our transportation supervisor. So we did take this to Finance, brought it to the full board, and now we're here presenting to the public. So we developed a Little Egg Harbor School District transportation plan. Since I've been here, I've been hearing all the issues going on with transportation, and we've been doing our best to manage them and navigate through them. In the 21 to 25 strategic plan, the district actually had a goal about transportation to provide a safe, efficient, and fiscally responsible transportation service to all students. You may agree that we did or didn't do that, but there was a plan. And some of our initial goals in creating this plan include continuously trying to improve our service through any creative solution we could think of, outside the box. What can we do? Or eliminating the need for outside transportation, out-of-district placements, homeless students. If we have a student who DCPP says is homeless, lives in Spring Lake, we need to go pick that child up and drive the child an hour to Little Lake Harbor. That one route costs upwards of $60,000. So if we could bring that in-house somehow, that would be helpful. Improving our current system of transportation, both pickup and drop-off, including taking back some of that instructional time from parents picking students up earlier in the day, and ultimately have some less parent pickup and drop-off. Do we believe it's going to eliminate all parent pickup and drop-off? Absolutely not. Do we think it will help to improve it? Yes, we do. And then our ultimate goal is separate fleets for seamless transportation. Separate fleets meaning Frogpond has a fleet and Mitchell has a fleet. Okay? So there are some organizational concerns that we have to consider when developing a plan. And we believe we've thought of just about everything. But if we miss something, the board will let us know. We want to make sure that, obviously, when we're going to move to doing something like this, that the constant increase in cost of utilizing a contractor is something that we said this district can't afford to continue doing that. We have very little organizational and logistical control when you're tiered with other districts, when we're paired up with other districts. So our calendar can't really be our calendar. Our calendar has to be our calendar paired with other districts. We have a lot of high costs and no assets to show for it. And we talked about decreased instructional time. We're always concerned about parent pickup and drop-off procedures, excessive ride times for students. Some of our students are on the bus for an hour. And increased cost due to timesheets from the association because they're staying to help students get on the buses safely. So what are some non-negotiables? We have to have buses on site. In this case, we're talking about minibuses and minivans. Okay? Minibuses, they have to be ready to go before we can change anything. We can't provide a service if we don't have the means to provide it. We cannot cancel routes until the minibuses are on site, and we have drivers. We will be employing drivers. We need the appropriate number of drivers, and we have to ensure that we've got enough people to help us respond to any problems that come along. So when we look operationally, we want to make sure that we're timing this out, and we do have a timeline here that you will see. We want to make sure that we can work within the lease purchase because we don't have money to put out, okay? We need to worry about managing the fleet that we get, maintaining the buses, upgrading, making sure that the buses are always in good condition. We have this implementation plan, including transitional time, and we have to work, again, increasing our district employed staff. We have minibus and van maintenance costs. We want to make sure we can park them securely so that they're safe at all times. And we want to make sure that we purchase whatever car seats or harnesses we need, any maintenance of purchase installation, maintenance of video cameras for the buses, and the Motor Vehicle Commission mandates that anybody with a CDL gets randomly drug tested. So Durham does it for their drivers, all bus companies do it for their drivers, and we do it for ours as well. You'll see that in minibus and minivan, we tried to include all the costs that we would have to worry about. Okay, I don't know that there's anything huge here that you guys can go back to, but these are some of the costs that we were considering in developing the plan because we wanted the board and the finance committee to understand we thought of everything. This is minivan maintenance, and you guys can go back to that. I just want to. Some considerations for employment, including the fact that we would be increasing our district employed drivers. We're seeking 6 drivers and 4 to 6 subs. We would have some type of payroll options, just dedicated drivers. If somebody comes to us with a CDL, it may be different than somebody who we're going to help get their CDL. We will train them, and of course, we talked about the increase in mandatory random drug testing. when we were looking at the salary considerations, we looked around, what are other people paying their drivers? And this is what we were able to come up with. As Mr. Morelli will say, this is not new money, this is a reallocation from the savings that they're going to talk about. I'm gonna let you guys talk about this stuff. And then or you guys can talk about that other stuff, but you guys can talk about this stuff now because this is your deal.
Good evening. Long story short, transportation is one of the large line items in our budget. And we have to do everything as a district to try to reallocate money within our budget. That being said, we're spending a tremendous amount of money on routes. So to give you an example, we have routes that range anywhere from $45,000 to $60,000 per route. We are currently spending upwards of $60,000 to drive from here to Spring Lake and back for one student each day. Tomorrow, that student will be in a minivan that we're paying $60,000 for the year to transport. And we can go on and on and on with all the routes and all the buses. And you're much more familiar with all the routes because you live here and it's your kids on the buses. It's my job to look at this and say, what can we do to change it? And basically, we're going back into in-house transportation, just like many other school districts do, in owning their own vehicles and not subbing it out to a bus company. Basically, we're going to take the profit that the bus companies are making, bring it back in-house into our district. We've covered all the expenses, which is no different than vehicles you own for your own house. It's everything from insurance, the gas, the tires, repairs, maintenance. The story here basically is with tonight's approval with the board of the agenda items, we will be leasing to own 5 minibuses and 2 minivans. There's a zero cost outlay to the district in doing this. It's on a lease, a 5-year lease. We own the vehicles at the end of the 5 years. That being said, the cost of the lease, the cost of the driver on top of it, the cost of the maintenance, et cetera, you're still saving a tremendous amount of money. Our one slide which is at the end, shows a cost savings of about $230,000 for the first year. This also includes adding 5 new large buses through Durham to sell them out right now because we don't own our own large buses, to separate your fleets, which I've learned is a very big problem that you have in the district. So the end goal here is a savings of almost $250,000. The separation of the fleets, we would own a total of 8 minivans, 8 minibuses, 2 minivans in the district. They become district assets. At the end of the 5th year, the district owns the assets. The minibus cost that you see of $125,000 for the lease payments will disappear. So this bottom number just continuously will increase year after year. This would be what I consider the first phase of bringing transportation back into your district in-house, which I've learned is what you actually had years ago before it was outsourced. Being in-house will give you more control over it, more control over school calendars. And since we will be running our own fleet, we don't occupy every single seat on the bus. That being said, the empty seats will be solicited to other school districts to increase our revenue. Basically, we're going to charge other districts to jump on our buses, just like we're paying right now. We're currently in talks with Pinelands. Their routes that go with Durham, we would be taking over the Pineland routes with our minibuses. So when you see revenue from other school districts, right now $120,000, that would be from the other school districts, because we have the seats. So again, the way Greyhound started with their transportation company and selling seats, we're doing the same thing. It doesn't increase our insurance costs at all. We're paying the drivers anyway. The new drivers that are coming on will be full-time employees. The hours that they're not driving during the day, in the middle of the day, they will be helping us in the district for any other tasks that we need, whether it be maintenance, custodial, cafeteria support, whatever we need in the district, we need help because we have, let go of a lot of staff, from what I've learned over the past 2 years. So we need help in operations just to keep everything functioning smoothly for our students. So these new drivers would be full-time employees. They come to us working the hours. It will also allow our district through the minibuses to increase field trips because the biggest cost of field trips is transportation, not the ticket to go into an event. Having our own fleet of minibuses, we can do in-house field trips. We can do after-school activities. And once again, if other districts need our transportation, we will be happy to service them. Any questions? Board members at this point?
Just have one about the
Sure.
hours, the full-time hours. Is it-
29 and a half hours.
Okay.
Yes, when I say full-time, it's our new part-time
Just check.
drivers. We're calling them full-time bus drivers. But it's 29 and a half hours, yes. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that we're transporting a single student from Spring Lake at the cost of $60,000 a year. Why are we busing a student from a town 50 miles away, Little Lake Harbor, at the cost of $60,000 a year? I mean, that's like an entire teacher's salary.
Yes, it is. So that is the McKinney-Vento law. It's not something we do because we want to. It's by law we have to. So any student who attends Little Lake Harbor School District, if for any reason they get put out of town, no matter how far it is, we have to transport them back to our district. Unless the state comes in and says, that student's now going to go to Spring Lake Elementary, then we no longer have to transport.
Is that in perpetuity or is that for certain?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
it's not public comment time, so we
Okay.
have to keep it with the board and then you can ask at public comment time. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Did you want to continue?
Unless you guys have anything for me.
I have a general question. I don't know if you can address it. You mentioned about how to shorten the parent pickup line. Have you ever done a survey of like the 60 cars that are lined up there every day to see maybe there's a common denominator of why people pick up and drop off? That, just so you have the information of that population. I'm one of them, by the way. I pick up and drop off my kids every day. But I'd be interested just to see what everybody else's reason is.
So prior to the separation or the combination of K to 6 on one bus, the parent drop-off pickup is not nearly what it is right now. I just had this conversation shortly after they decided to put all K to 6 on one bus is when the parent drop-off got to be what it is today. So I truly believe that once we get all of our K to 2nd on one bus and all 3 to 6, and they're pulling out of one school and going directly to their bus stops, the average ride time should be cut in half by 20 to 25 minutes for the students. Some faster and some around 25. So it wouldn't make sense for a parent to sit here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a 3 o'clock dismissal because the buses will pull out and your child will be home within a reasonable time, 15 to 25 minutes, give or take.
Yeah, but do you have any plans of doing any kind of survey, get feedback?
I mean, I could walk car to car. That's about as much information I can get. Most parents, when they talk about it, it's the two biggest topics they tell us is having their 5-year-old on the bus with a 13-year-old and how long the ride time takes. By the time they leave Mitchell, come down here, grab the next set of students, and then go out. These kids have already been on the buses for 15 to 20 minutes before even making their way to their houses.
Can you share the timeline with us? Because I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting too to think that we could be.
on the website.
Okay, we will post on the website, okay.
So with the board approval, I will immediately get started with acquiring the minibuses that we've been talking about. And then we give notice to our contractor that we're changing things up a little bit and continue to work with them so that we can get more big buses, start using more big buses in our current fleet contract that we have. So right now, we operate 29 54 passenger buses. We need more than that to have K to 2nd and 3 to 6 on the buses. So by taking our mini buses in-house, it allows us to then reallocate and have them provide more buses for us so that we can do the separation of fleets. So we notify them. As the buses come in, we'll get them on the road once we have our drivers all set, ready to go. And then our goal is for September of the 26-27 school year to go back to normal, what we used to have, K to second on one, 3 to 6 on the other.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's one more.
One more presentation. Dr. Antunes is going to talk about board goals and district goals.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so these are proposed board goals that the board discussed a bit in retreat, worked together to come up with. So Little Lake Harbor does have a mission statement. I don't have to read it to you. It is there. It's also on our website. But I wanted to, obviously it's a board goal, so we wanted to make sure that the mission statement was front and center there. What's the point of goal setting? Well, effective boards want to define clear goals for themselves, for student achievement, for classroom instruction, but also for organizational development, right? So it's about shared beliefs and values and what's possible for all students. There is a goal development process. It starts with board goals, which typically includes governance, oversight, PD, and communications. Then it goes to district goals, and then building teacher and student outcomes. So that's typically the process for goal development. For board goals, they are set to improve the process of tasks owned by the board. So these goals are the goals that the board owns, and they're evaluated, but they evaluate themselves on the board goals in the board self-evaluation. Everyone owns the district goals. So while I'm responsible as the superintendent for the completion, the board supplies the resources necessary for me and my team to ensure that the goals are implemented and hopefully met. And then my goals are derived from the district goals. Board goals are the foundation for improved governance. That is their job. Continuous improvement, effective communication, accountability, and a cohesive team. So there are 3 proposed board goals. One of them, again, this will be on the website. One of them, the first one, is essentially that the board will work with myself, Mr. Morelli, via the Finance Committee to review and analyze transportation operations, safety, and cost effectiveness. And the board will receive a minimum of 3 status updates throughout the school year, and will identify and support at least 2 actionable improvements in transportation services, such as route optimization, safety enhancements, or fleet management. Each of these goals will have action items, but the action items will be developed once the board approves the goals. The second goal is that the board will work with the school business administrator to enhance the financial transparency and efficiency by reviewing quarterly the budget to actual reports. So we know that our finances have been concerning to us, and so we want to make sure that we put everything out there early and often. And we will identify a minimum of 1 area of potential cost savings, either via grant funding or shared service, by the end of May. And then the third goal is that each member of the Board of Ed will strengthen their own professional development in governance, communications, long-range facilities planning by attending a minimum of 1 workshop, training, or retreat throughout the year. From those board goals, I will develop district goals with the team, with my administrative team. However, some of these we've already talked about and developed, which includes increasing student growth in ELA as measured by the state assessment. We will increase our student math stretch growth, K-6, by 20% as based on the iReady diagnostics. And we will increase our community engagement opportunities that I will work through. We are going to add another goal to this that will include the transportation that the board has as their first goal. We'll add something to that effect as well, so that we will have four district goals. That is the presentation of goals. If the board has any questions.
I'd just like to say that we're off to a good start for that first goal in terms of the transportation. I'm very happy with the plan so far, I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but I think we're off to a good start with that. And I look forward to working with the board on the other goals. Thank you. Okay. And I have a motion to approve the finance items A through F.
Motion to approve?
Second. May I have a
Second.
Any questions? A through F.
Mr. Chicchione?
Yes.
Mr. Filicello?
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. LaShaga?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. I have a motion to approve facilities items A, please.
Motion to approve?
Can I have a second? Second. Any questions?
No questions, but just a comment that the Basketball Association, my sons are a part of it. You can actually start at first grade, as young as first grade. So that's another activity that the community has for students if you're looking for something to do in the winter.
That's at both schools, right? From on George, yeah. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chicchione?
Yes.
Mr. Filicello?
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. LaShaga?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Recommend a motion to approve school business administrators non-personnel items A through G.
Motion
Can I have a
to,
motion?
sorry.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve?
Okay, can I have a second? Second. Are there any questions?
No questions, but huge thank you to everyone who made donations on here. 340 backpacks from Costco, 22 filled backpacks from Atlantic Medical Imaging, Family Promise. We have Anthony, I'm not going to be able to say the last name right, LBI School District for $8,000, and CJ Davis. I mean, that is just beyond fantastic. Thank you to everybody on this list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Chicchione?
Yes.
Mr. Filicello?
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. LaShaga?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Recommend a motion to approve personnel items A through G. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Are there any questions? A through G.
So I just wanted to point out we're on superintendent items. Is that right?
Sorry? Action items? Yeah, A through G, all the way to page 9.
So, like parents came up last month talking about the student government advisor and the safety control advisor. We obviously heard them, and they are back on the agenda tonight, so I look forward to approving that and getting those programs back up and running.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Chicchione?
Yes.
Mr. Filicello?
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. LaShaga?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Recommend a motion to approve superintendents of schools non-personnel items A through C.
Motion to approve?
Second. Are there any questions? It's a first reading, regulations and policies. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chicchione?
Yes.
Mr. Filicello?
Yes.
Ms. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. LaShaga?
Yes.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. New business. Any new business for us tonight? I think we have enough on the roster. Okay. Okay, we are at the public comment portion. The floor is now open to members of the public. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues. The board requests that each statement made by a participant is limited to 3 minutes as cited in policy 0167. There's a sign-in sheet located at the podium. Please sign in before you speak. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Smith. My son is Ronan Smith, goes here. I've got a couple issues and concerns about a teacher in the district and her posts that have come up all over social media. It's absolutely disgusting. I've went to the administrative building, still waiting on a phone call back on that as well. Shortly after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Angela Randall posted a disgusting...
I'm just going to caution you to avoid making any sort of defamatory comments or anything relevant to that.
Let's not protect her, okay?
I'm doing my job, sir, and it's the law.
Yeah, and I'm doing my job as a parent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, following Charlie Kirk's assassination, she decides to post up their thoughts and prayers. Like, yeah, okay, with the emoji question marks. One of her family members, extended family members, said shortly after the post, she was unfriended on there, and says, this isn't even the worst of what she believes in terms of issues like this. That's horrible. An hour after that post, Angela Randall posted, the biggest danger of taking your child to a drag show is that a Christian could show up with a gun. Are you kidding me? What are we doing about this? So, we emailed the superintendent. We get a lot of smoke blown. We know our policies. We know we got to do this. We know we got to do that. No answers to what's happening. None. Mr. Nazarek was also emailed on this. His solution, you can come take your child out of that class for the time and then bring them back. Again, why are we protecting this type of behavior in this district? That is absolutely disgusting. Not only did Angela Randall put a target on this whole entire district and this
Sir,
school.
again, I'm going to caution you from making defamatory statements.
What about that is defamatory? These are facts.
There's a lot of opinion in this.
There is no opinion in this at all. This is all posted on here. And I guarantee you, all these parents in here are going to say the same exact thing. There's nothing defamatory in here. So stop protecting this disgusting behavior.
You have your time, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. So not only did she put a target on this school, on this district, I am now very concerned about my son attending a full day in this school. Yes, he still comes here. No, you're not going to allow him to go to that class. But
You can please wrap up your comments, sir.
my son is now put in danger a full day, not only from these lunatics that support her, but any lunatic that would come down here to try to defend their own children. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I think the community in a whole demands answers from the board. We have been emailing the board and everybody else, the superintendent, with no response. What is the action? What are you guys going to do to fix this problem?
Thank you. We're here to listen tonight.
Nope. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Mola, and I run a local parents page in the area. And I was asked by parents of this school to come in here and speak on their behalf because a lot of them are in fear of retaliation of speaking their minds towards Angela Stella Randall. She speaks of love is love, hate has no place here, and all these other great things. But as soon as something, a tragedy, affects our country, the world really, she posts something vile and disgusting, like she did. This isn't the first time that she's done things like this. And I have the receipts. posting comments, ignorant comments, or thoughts and prayers with maybe I give him thoughts and prayers, or does he deserve thoughts and prayers? You can look at it that way. That's for freedom of speech, but that doesn't give you freedom of consequences. Okay? She works for us. We pay her salary. And she is shaping young minds. And for her to go publicly and speak the way she did and post the things that she does regarding religion and someone being assassinated, which a lot of these kids have seen. Okay? This is the first one I've seen live. And I'm sure it's the first one many of us have seen live. She has slandered many people many different times, publicly and privately. And as a parent of someone of the LGBTQ community and a Christian, it's very hard for me to speak on this because I'm a bit torn between what she supports and what I support. But I can tell you what, right now, I don't support someone being murdered and a teacher joking about it. I've let a lot slide. No more. A man was murdered, and her first reaction was to make a post, questioning thoughts and prayers. And then she's also posted anti-Christian propaganda in the past with no recourse. It's like she thinks she's untouchable. Well, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people pissed off, and enough is enough. Something needs to be done. And if it's not, I will be going, along with many other parents that we've accumulated, to the Ocean County BOE. Teachers are held to a higher standard.
Especially when they're pushing in their classroom.
Sir, the floor is not yours.
Or yours.
She kept her page open after this post was made. And guess what? People went digging and found more things, and they sent them to me. Just because I run these pages for parents. After she posted, she didn't apologize.
You can please wrap up, sir.
And saying, like I said, you have the freedom of speech in this country, but that doesn't give you the freedom of consequences. I'm sure there's a social media clause in all teachers' contracts and all your contracts, because I know I have one in my job. And if I said anything like that, I'd be terminated immediately. So we're demanding her termination. And if not, I will go to every news outlet that I have at my disposal, and I have a lot.
Please wrap up your comments, sir.
I heard you the first time.
Statement stands.
I have one person that's the audacity to post such a vile, disgusting thing.
Okay.
We're closing you about having defamatory statements.
We have to go to the next person. Thank you.
She needs to stop posting defamatory stuff. And
Sir, the floor is not yours. You had an opportunity.
It's not yours either.
Once everyone is finished, if you'd like to make another comment, you may, sir.
Thank you, I will.
Hi. Hello. I'm Kate Revolt. My sons are in the school district, and I also saw all of the posts that this teacher has posted. And I just want to say I found it wonderful that she continued to defend the right of the students and to talk about the shooting in Evergreen, Colorado that occurred the same day at school. She also spoke about the fact that everyone is so concerned about this political figure, but no one's talking to him. So this same incident occurred within 2 schools, and Angela's talking about that, and she's also talking about how not much has changed since other tragedies like Sandy Hook. She is bringing up valid points as educators that you should be concerned about the safety of guns in schools, and that as parents, we should be concerned about and worried about, and not the glorification of some personality as part of a political movement. Of course, what happened is tragic and it's sad, and everyone has a right to mourn. And what happened to him is absolutely terrible. No one should see it, no one should record it. I condemn it completely. But what Angela is saying is not wrong. She is trying to focus back on the students, and I'm happy to hear that educators are out here doing that and keeping the focus on our community on our students and not glorifying the news and what's popular.
Thank you. It should be on.
Yeah, push it up, push it up.
Can you hear? Okay, there we go. That's not part of my 3 minutes. My name is Cindy Castaldo. Last year, I stood before you fighting for our teachers, our students, and our community against budget cuts, layoffs, and raising taxes. Unfortunately, I'm here tonight to express a deep concern regarding a social media post made by a staff member within our district and the response received. While I absolutely respect every individual's right to personal opinion and freedom of speech, I also believe that with the responsibility of educating children comes a higher expectation of professionalism and emotional integrity, especially when addressing the matters involving human loss. The post in question mocked and minimized the passing of Charlie Kirk. As a parent and a member of this community, I found the tone of that message extremely disappointing and misaligned with the values I'd expect to see reflected in our schools. This is not about disagreeing with someone. This is about basic human decency. It's about the example we are setting, not just through our curriculum and our testing, but through our behaviors and attitudes modeled by those entrusted with our children every day. District Policy 3282 details the expectations for teachers and the, quote, use of social networking sites, publicly sharing, quote, the biggest danger of taking your child to a drag show is that a Christian could show up with a gun, end quote, promotes hate and violates that policy. If we hold students accountable for their words mocking others, whether it be in school or online, why aren't we holding our teachers to the same standards and expectations? What's most troubling to me is the way the district has responded. The only resolution offered when asked to have my children removed from their instruction was to have the affected students picked up during that portion of the day. That is not a solution, that is avoidance. Other schools and businesses across the country have taken public, thoughtful, and compassionate action when similar situations have come up, not only now, but in the past decade, no matter which way the pendulum is swinging. So I stand here tonight and I ask, Ms. Lisa Antunes, what is your response to this matter? Can you please get off your phone and pay attention? What is your response to this matter? Board members, what are your responses to this matter? How is the district addressing this beyond asking parents to simply remove their children during this class? And lastly, how are we ensuring that our schools are a place with sympathy and accountability matter just as much as academic success? I truly hope this is taken seriously, not just for my family, but for the culture that we are building in this district as a whole. Just to close this as well, we teach our students from kindergarten that we can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I'm doing that. We cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube once something is said. So in this instance, it's the same thing. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Timothy Vale. First of all, thank you for all the work you do. It seems as though over the last decade, there has been more violence on the rise at an alarming rate. Maybe it's always been like this. it's just reported more. It seems like we have a school shooting almost every single month, almost every single week. It seems like we've had the train stabbing with the Ukrainian girl, Charlie Kirk's assassination. It just seems like violence is on the rise. My question is about safety and security. Are we as a school district, are we as school locations, Farm Pond and George Mitchell, are we doing all we can with security, or is there possibly a way with the limited budget we have that maybe we could steward the budget a little bit better to make security a little bit better and a little bit tighter for the safety of the staff, the students, volunteers, vendors, parents, for the safety of everyone? Like, is there something else we could do with that?
Well, we can't answer questions right now, but we're taking all the comments and we're writing them down. Trust me, you'll get answers to your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
How you doing? Okay, I just want to touch base on a couple different things here. My son's come home, said there's inappropriate things that have been said. He doesn't know that they're inappropriate. That's grooming in this particular teacher's classroom. So yes, that is grooming. I also want to touch base on this other.
Caution you for making defamatory statements about an individual.
These are facts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last 9 shootings that have happened. Let's see. The Denver school shooter was trans. The Denver school shooter number 2, trans.
Sir, I'm going to again caution you from making defamatory
Aberdeen shooter, trans. Nashville shooter, trans. Colorado Springs shooter, non-binary. Don't you see a trend here? Don't you see what's going on here? And when this is being pushed in a classroom, and little kids are being groomed at 9 years old, are you kidding me? They don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's a bad comment. They're being groomed.
We have to talk about Little Lake Harbor and what's going on here.
Right, but I'm saying that these little kids are being groomed. There is a trend here.
You're continuing to make potentially defamatory comments. Thank you.
It's all
Okay.
facts. Look into it.
Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, so what the board wants to say, we wanted to make a statement about this with the tragic incident of Charlie Kirk's death, and we wanted to respond to the public because we've gotten numerous emails on this issue, on both sides, I have to be honest. But this is our expectation of the district, and this is how we feel. I'll read a short statement that was approved by the board. We expect everyone in our school district community to treat each other with kindness and respect and to uphold the policies and procedures that speak to professionalism, and whether in person or via social media platforms. Any actions that threaten the well-being or dignity of others will be addressed promptly and appropriately in accordance with school policies and New Jersey law. Please keep in mind the board does not administer discipline. We do not have a say in that. All we can do is look at the policies that were violated. And if anyone wants to know the policies that are applicable here, I have those. You can talk to me after the meeting. Yeah, I think everybody knows that we can't address personnel items specifically in public. But the public is free to do that. The board is not.
When will you address it?
Public has freedom of speech.
When will it be addressed? When will it be addressed?
Okay, so the public comment was closed. That was our comment. I invite the board to make any other comments they would like.
Is this board forum now?
This is board forum.
All right, I want to take this in a little bit of a different direction. I didn't really know who Mr. Charlie Kirk was. I knew he was a conservative speaker, a commentator, who was a big supporter of the president, and I like skimmed the surface of what he was about. basically just assuming that he was another social media personality with 15 minutes of fame. But I was wrong. Only after he passed away did I start watching some of his videos and pay attention to what he was saying, but more importantly, how he was saying it. I won't try to argue his political or religious beliefs one way or another tonight in this forum. However, I do want to share some observations. If you ever watched even 1 minute of his videos, you would see that he did have incredible political and religious convictions. But he also wanted to be known as an entrepreneur because he built an organization from scratch called Turning Point USA. Started in 2012 in his parents' garage. In fact, he started by putting a card table out in the middle of a campus and just asking anybody to come up to that table to debate him with words and facts. And for the first 10 years of his organization, he traveled 330 days out of the year. And now he's having an even bigger impact on the entire world. He grew Turning Point USA from nothing to a $150 million nonprofit organization with over 1,000 employees, 400,000 individual donors, and an amazing 1.4 billion views of his videos on TikTok last year. Simply from an achievement perspective, he accomplished a lot in his 31 short years. But most of all, he wanted to be known for his courage. His courage for proclaiming his faith, his courage to speak truth no matter what, and his courage for standing in front of thousands of college students who vehemently disagreed with him, armed with nothing but a stool and a microphone so that he could openly debate them. He went straight into college campuses where his views were not very popular, but he asked anyone to come up to the microphone for a respectful debate, and he traveled all over the world doing that. In fact, he asked those who disagreed with him to come to the front of the line, and he always challenged people to fact check him. But unfortunately, of all places, what happened to him that day happened on an educational campus. And the very place where opposing views are supposed to be respectfully discussed, dissected, and debated. A place where you should feel free from fear for harm for doing so. A place where many of us once walked as students ourselves, or maybe you hope to send your children one day. I say all that because as leaders in this district, it is our responsibility to create a safe and healthy environment for our students here in Little Lake Harbor. As we sit here today, we are at the beginning of that journey, literally from the ages of 3 years old, with pre-K 3, all the way up through 6th grade. We are charged, us up here on the board and teachers and administration, charged with preparing our students for becoming caring, responsible young adults so that one day they too can change the world. And that is a charge none of us up here take lightly. So what can we do about it now? There's an old saying, love your neighbor as yourself. We've seen so much hate, we've seen so much violence, but let's go back to the basics, love and respect. And since this is a school district, let's focus on mastering the basics, the academics. That's what an elementary school is here for, and that is our charge as a board, is to prepare our kids for the future and to master the basics, because we do have a lot of work to do, but that is something that we collectively as a group are focused on. We want to treat everybody with love and respect, and we want to make sure that our students are prepared to change the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. That's very good. Greg, would you like to say anything?
So I would like to start with, I can't tell you guys how excited I am about the new transportation policy and then the grant writing. Ever since the beginning, I've been beating the drum of fiscal responsibility. During the budget season, transportation is over a $2 million line item. It's massive, and then we weren't bringing in any additional income. So these are the two charges I was mainly focused on myself. It is great to see the sense of urgency that the district has taken to really break the ship, getting us more prepared for the next budget season. What's even more exciting is that not only do we reap the savings now, but those savings compound in 5 years when those assets are paid off and then we own them. Grant writing, I can't wait to see how much additional funding that we're going to get into the district and hopefully help us when the next budget season comes, because we can't go through what we went through the last go around. While we're on the topic of budget, one of the questions that was brought up was safety and security. We take it as a board very, very serious. During those budget discussions, we fought tirelessly to figure out how to keep our 2 SROs. Most of us have children in these schools, and it's just safety is imperative to each and every one of us. Last week, I got to go to the GJM back to school night. It was fantastic, meeting my son's teacher, Miss Morgan, who was absolutely incredible. I think he's going to have a fantastic year this year. In closing, I am very concerned at some of the comments that I heard, especially that we're asking parents to pick up their children. I just hope we can find a different way to work with these concerned parents, as this is such a hot topic that's front and center.
Thanks, Greg. John, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much agree with Greg on most of the stuff that he said, because it's all pretty much true. It's with everything that's going on right now. I'm very excited about transportation. I'm very excited about the savings that the school is getting right now, well, moving forward into the future here. And I'm happy about school busing, especially for the separation for the kids. I think it's going to be really good for the parents to see the kids all grouped up like that on the bus, so we don't have different age brackets mixed. And I think it's going to be a lot better. We're not going to see a lot of riffraff or anything like that. I'm also excited about the ROD grants that are taking place for the new RTU HVAC upgrades. That's phenomenal. It's a great thing that we're pushing forward and utilizing these grants and looking into the future for more grants that are coming. I have to say that's pretty much it. It's all positive for me.
Okay, thanks, John. How are you doing over there, Allison? Yourself.
First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for coming out, expressing your concerns. They certainly are not going unheard on my part. And just secondly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this school year brings. I hope you girls and guys, as teachers and admin, had a great first couple of days start. I know where I'm at, it was just so nice to see kids back in school, getting involved in classes and all the exciting things that they do. I am very much looking forward to when we have the principals here doing presentations with the students of the month and talking about all the wonderful things that go on within the buildings at which are Little Lake Harbor School District.
Okay, and I'll go last. I also want to say that thanks for all the parents that came out tonight and expressing your views. You've been heard. Thank you for standing up for your kids. In this district, we are your elected officials, so I hope you continue to hold us accountable. We want to hold the district accountable to follow policy, and I'm sure Dr. Antunes will follow through with that. As I said before, there are 4 different policies that pertain to an issue like this, and if you want to know any more about that, they're on the website, or I can let you know after the meeting. But I take this very seriously. I don't know if I can speak for the whole board, but this is me telling you we are taking this very seriously. Thank you. I don't think we need another executive session. No? Okay. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Second. Aye. Everybody say aye.
All in favor? Meeting is closed. Thank you.